Yo, what's going on, boys? Welcome back to the stream. Welcome back to our recap of UFC 328. So, I know it's a bit late at this point. Welcome to the late night streams. I just wanted to hop on stream quickly and talk to some of you boys about, my thoughts on UFC 328 as a whole. Talk a little bit about the main event, a little bit about the co-main event as well. I know a lot of you guys are very interested to hear my opinions on what happened in that fight. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. So, in terms of the main event itself, I thought it was very, very odd the way everything played out. Going into the fight, I thought it could have ended in one of two ways. I thought either one, Hamzat will be able to win that fight early. I thought he would be able to find a submission victory in rounds 1 or 2. Or if Strickland was able to survive until the latter half of that fight, starting really with round 3, I thought he would do a good job at starting to pick up the pace and eventually finding that finish. But obviously, Strickland technically ended up finding the decision victory, but it just played out so weirdly. And I think there was a couple different things that I was really surprised about from both guys. For one, Strickland's takedown defense looked really good pretty early, really starting in round 2. His takedown defense looked really good. And that's something that surprised me quite a bit. But also, I was very surprised to see how Hamzat, honestly, was having a lot of success in the stand-up against Strickland as well. Just a very weird fight overall. Definitely congrats to Strickland. Really, really good performance, I thought, but very, very odd performance at the same time, or at least odd result, the way everything played out. And also on top of that, the beef turned out to be fake. A little bit disappointed, to be honest. I mean, a big reason for why I was personally really excited for this fight was I thought the beef was real, but it turned out that it wasn't. Immediately before the fight even started, it was pretty clear that the beef was fake. But definitely congrats to Strickland. Thought he had a really, really good performance. Essentially won the fight by stuffing takedowns and jabbing. That's all really he needed, to be honest. In round 5, he picked it up a little bit with some right hands, but really, really good performance overall. Ryan, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. This is the best timeline, best possible outcome. Yeah, I mean, I do think it is real good, honestly, for the weight class, probably for the fans as well, and just in general. All of a sudden, I think the real big winner from this card probably is Dricus du Plessis. All of a sudden, he gets a real opportunity to fight for the title once again against a guy who he already beat twice, and I honestly think he would beat again. I think Dricus is a really bad stylistic matchup for Strickland. So he's a huge winner of this fight card. Also, on top of that, the middleweight division is significantly opened up as compared to what it was just yesterday or just a couple of hours ago at this point. Hamzat was incredibly inactive. I didn't really think anybody at the weight class could really beat him outside of maybe Strickland. So all of a sudden that opens up pretty significantly as well. And I just think it's good for the UFC overall. At this point, I do think Hamzat probably is going to move up to the light heavyweight division. Some people are saying, oh, maybe he's going to rematch Strickland because he can beat him, which I probably would agree with. I do think that he could beat Strickland, but I think he moves up. I think based upon his weight cut and other factors, I think it's pretty clear he's going to move up. So I do agree. I do think this is probably the best possible outcome, but at the same time, definitely an outcome that wasn't completely shocking, but the way it played out was incredibly shocking. So, yeah, I don't know. Good performance, though, for Strickland. John, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. Betting wasn't good for me, but luckily I was picking better. Let's go. Yeah, definitely a great play on that one. For all the channel members, we ended up profiting basically half a unit, which honestly I'll take. I ended up max betting Tasuda Taira, which I'll get into in a second. Very, very surprised the way that fight played out. Obviously I was wrong, but he got to all his positions and still couldn't really do anything. Very, very odd. But overall, in terms of the betting results, we got a lot of other picks right. So we ended up, basically going even, but we were technically up half a unit. I'll take it based upon losing a max bet. Yo, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. Let's go. Yeah, good win for Strickland for sure. But talking about the co-main event, I think I was honestly more surprised with the co-main event as compared to the main. Joshua Van ended up coming away with a 5th round TKO victory over Tasuda Taira, and honestly, a masterclass of a performance. He looked incredible tonight. Going into this fight, I was very confident in Tatsuda Taira for a few different reasons. I thought, for one, the physicality was in his advantage. Yes, on the feet, I always knew Joshua Van was a better striker, and he probably was going to land consistently. But I thought Tatsuda Taira's chin would be good enough to withstand a lot of the punishment that Van throws. But at the same time, I thought if Taira landed a big shot of his own, he easily can drop Joshua Van. But on top of that, I thought it would be. On top of that, I thought Tatsuda Taira would be able to find takedowns, and he did. He found takedowns incredibly easily, and he went through mount to mount incredibly easily as well. Taira got to all of his positions and still couldn't do anything. Very, very weird to see. So obviously, I was wrong with the max bet, but just very, very weird to see situation like that. So I don't really know, but nonetheless, definitely a great, great performance from Joshua Van. More or less pieced Taira up on the feet, landed big shots. I thought he almost had him out in round 2, I believe it was, or was it round 3? I think it was 2. Taira, to his credit, really tough. Actually had somewhat of a second wind in round 3. I thought he looked kind of good in that round. Still didn't win it, I don't think, but looked better in round 3. Or maybe it was round 4. I don't remember, but he got a second wind at some point in the fight. But the issue for him is he could find takedowns, but he couldn't really do anything with it, which was very surprising to me. Oh, and what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. My prediction for this card is so good. Only when I was wrong with Dawson and Miller. Let's go, brother. Congrats. Remember the last time Joshua Van won a co-main event against Pantoja? Yeah, big win of Ram. Yeah, I don't know. That is something to think about. People forget, man. I've been calling this for months. Strickland wins a close decision. I also said Van late TKO. Let's go, brother. Congrats. Yeah, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. Van has some power. Van bombed him with that right and almost subbed him. Yeah, I thought him going to the sub was honestly like a bad move on his part. I know he got somewhat close, but I thought he easily in that moment could have went ground and pound and possibly finished the fight in round 2, I believe that was. But I think he was kind of just having an ego thing. He really wanted to submit Taira, but didn't turn out in the end. But nonetheless, it didn't really change the result. It was clearly a masterclass of a performance from Joshua Van, eventually finding that TKO in that 5th round. Really, really good fight. Fly, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream, and thanks so much for becoming a channel member. Was there a break in the Volkov fight to the Strickland fight? Very good. Ryan, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. The Goat Enjoyers are in shambles right now. That is true. A lot of Daggy fans. I know he's technically not from Dagestan, but you know, it is what it is. I think a lot of those fans are very upset with the result. Very weird the way it played out, but great performance nonetheless from Sean Strickland. Volkov back tattoo was staring at me. Very good. Very interesting back tattoo that he's got. Also, like, very interesting performance. I thought both guys in that fight could have done more. Volkov as well as Waldo. Waldo was kind of getting frustrated with the movement of Volkov, which is exactly what I thought would happen in that fight. But at the same time, he was more or less just staring at Volkov and not really throwing much. When he created chaos, he was having success. But he more or less was staring at Volkov way too much. And Volkov was just utilizing calf kicks, running away. But also at the same time, I thought he could have done more as well by utilizing his boxing a little bit. So both guys could have done more. I thought Volkov won in the end. But interesting fight, I guess I'll say. But Tyra's down. Yeah. So I kind of agree with you. Like, we kind of had different opinions, obviously, going into the fight. And yeah, the takedowns were not hard at all from Taira. I thought in round 1, based upon how easy he got that takedown, honestly, I'm gonna be honest, I thought the fight was over in that moment. I thought if Taira can get a takedown against Van, he would just be way too good on the ground. I thought the real issue for Taira going into this fight would be actually getting the fight to the ground. I thought eventually he would get it there, but I didn't think it would be that easy. So when I saw early in round 1, he got an easy takedown, I'm like, all right, he's in a great spot here. Got to full mount immediately, but then he couldn't do anything with it. It was very, very odd to see. So definitely a credit to Joshua Van having a lot of success at, defending on the ground, even in full mount in certain situations. And honestly, this is not typical for a lot of fights, but I think Taira going to mount was a bad move because every time he went to mount, I think this is something that Van really drilled a lot, but every time he went to mount, he couldn't really control Van. And because of that, he wasn't really able to land many ground and pound shots, honestly, any at all. So I thought it was a bad move. In certain occasions, in certain moments, when Tyra was in side control, he had way more control of Joshua Van, and he had the ability to go to more things, ground and pound shots, maybe threaten some submissions. It made a lot more sense for him to be there, or even in full guard at times as well. He just had better control. But every time he got to mount, Van did a great job of just constantly bucking and essentially keeping Tyra uncomfortable when he was in full mount. Very weird to see traditionally, but I think Van really in a weird way, wanted Tyra to go to full mount because he felt comfortable in getting out of those situations, and he did a great job at doing exactly that. Did he win some bread? Yeah. So we made half a unit for the channel members. But I'm okay with that. I mean, listen, any profit is a good profit, I guess, but I'm okay with that based upon the fact that we lost our max bet and we still profited technically. Not technically, we did half a unit. So I'll take it. But yeah, if I didn't max bet Tyra or somehow Tyra won, we would have been up like 20 units. Would have been a huge day. But nonetheless, I'll take it. Strickland via piano. Yeah, it was an illegal knee. Van should have been DQ'd. It actually was an illegal knee. It probably should have been like a point deduction, maybe, but it obviously would not have changed the course of that fight. Whole sport monitoring USA after Strickland won. So fun. Let's go. Van, Strickland, Volk are my favorite fighters right now. Let's go, bro. Yeah, great performances from Van and Strickland. Heavyweight Patty Pimlet Volkov is not that's true. It's so funny that he really does look like Patty. Very interesting. All that security for nothing. Yeah, the beef was absolutely fake. Honestly, like very frustrating. I was a little upset about that, to be honest. But it was a funny visual seeing all that security in there. And as soon as the fight starts, they dab each other up. It's like, bro, what is this? But we were duped. It did seem like it was real beef, but it wasn't, unfortunately. Yeah, I agree with you, Owen. I thought Volkov won that fight, but it was a close fight. I think it really comes down to round one. Rounds 2 and 3 were obvious. Round 2 was very obvious for Volkov. Round 3 I thought was pretty obvious for Waldo. Comes down to round 1. I personally had it for Volkov, but yeah, it was close, I guess. And as I said before, I thought both guys could have done more, but it is what it is. You still drink that? Very good. Yeah, but in round 1, after Van got up, I was like, well, maybe the grappling is kind of close. Van shut out Tyra. Tyra looked like he was getting hit like a truck. Tyra's still a dog, though. Yeah, I agree. But I guess really what I was trying to say before about me feeling really good in round 1 was not after the first round, but it was in the first round when when Tyra got a takedown that easily at the beginning of the round. In that moment, I felt really good about the fight. Now, after round 1 ended, I still kind of felt good about it, but not as good as I did initially in that moment. That's kind of what I was trying to say. But yeah, Tyra is a dog. His chin is absolutely insane. I mean, listen, he's definitely on great juice, I will say, and he's huge also for 125. But that guy took insane punishment in this fight and, still continued to go forward. He probably could have got finished in round 2. And then in round 3, he comes out. And in round 4, he comes out and seems like he has a second wind. He's incredibly, incredibly tough. So definitely props to him. He's got to work on his striking defense. It's incredibly bad. He's just incredibly hittable. I don't even know what to say. So I don't know. It is what it is, but something to think about going into the Pantoja fight, as it does seem like that is going to be the next fight. Pantoja versus Van does make you feel pretty good about Van. I initially thought that Van was going to beat Pantoja the first time around. I guess technically he did, but not in the way that we would have wanted it to. In the rematch, I honestly think Van has a great chance to win again, but this time for real. Honestly, the card that's man, that was the hype and fake chip. Yeah, I mean, I thought they definitely were fun fights. I thought the co-main event was incredibly fun. I thought there was other fun fights in this card as well. But yeah, it wasn't like, holy shit, this is the best card of the year, or this is like an insane card. And the main event itself was, I think, a bit underwhelming. I mean, I was very happy based upon the fact that Sean won, but it wasn't necessarily like what I expected, and it wasn't necessarily the most exciting fight in the world, but it was good. Yo, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. I think you're right. Um, I think you're right, man. I heard that as well, that Hamzat did bulk up. He was, initially planning on fighting Yuri Prohaska, and because of that, he bulked up, and that definitely could have played a role here. So yeah, maybe that's what it was. I mean, Hamzat looked absolutely gassed in round two. Now he caught a second wind, which is a little bit weird to see, but he was really gassed in round two. So that definitely could have played a factor. That was an amazing card. I think it was good. I don't think it was like, oh my god. I think the co-main event was great. The Sean Brady fight was okay. The Volkov fight I thought was honestly like not fun. The King Green fight was good. Great performance, honestly, for King Green. He's looking real good lately. Gautier fight versus Ozzy. I know it was a knockout, but honestly, I thought it was like whatever. Amasov versus Yoel Alvarez. That was interesting. Grant Dawson versus Rebetsky, I thought wasn't a good fight. And also Rebetsky is like an idiot. He easily could have found the finish. He just fought so dumb. Jim Miller was a fun performance, though, against Jared Gordon. Kopylov was a fun fight against Tulio. Sabatini was a really boring fight against Gomes. Sushikaev was okay against Santos. And Ochoa versus Carpenter, I thought was fun, but it was an absolute beatdown, honestly, for Ochoa. Herb, I'm starting. Very good. Yo, what's going on, man? Welcome to stream, Deshaun Strickland. Yeah, definitely after tonight. Cut 46 pounds pre-fight. Cut. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's a lot of weight to cut. Yeah, Tyra did nothing with a full amount, and Van managed to get out. Insanity. Van is so good, and a nightmare matchup for Pantoja. Yeah, I agree. I think he beats him. I do think he beats him again. Or I don't really count the first one, but I think he beats him in the second fight. Had a 9-5 parlay. Van fucked it for me. Fucking hell. Now the beef was real, but they chilled out as the fight got closer, and Delane Bravo was not fake beef. I don't know. I mean, you could be right. I think it was fake. I don't think you can go 0 or 100 to 0, I guess, that quickly. I get it going into a fight, and especially after a fight. A lot of guys that have beef kind of, repair things after the fact. But before the fight even started, they were like totally chill with each other. I don't know. I thought it was fake beef personally. To be that upset with each other before the fact and see that after, I don't know. I lost intensity. Very good. I thought round 1 was obvious Volkov, but 2 and 3 were close. Really? I thought round 1, like literally nothing happened, but I thought Volkov won because he landed calf kicks. Round 2, I thought it was very obvious for Volkov. And I thought 3 honestly was very obvious for Waldo. Round 3, Waldo was landing some big shots, or at least getting close with some big shots, but it seemed like he was landing. And in round 2, Volkov really, opened up a little bit more. I landed some good shots, so I don't know. That's how I saw the fight, but I guess either way, we came to the same conclusion. I'm sorry, I'm really behind on chat, by the way. I apologize. I just want to get to all your boys' questions. I hate the showman. I hate the dude more than very good. UFC is turning into a clown show. Only Poetan and Taporia the saver. Yeah, I guess. Yo, what's going on, man? Welcome to stream. American Hand for very good. Even had Jim for the upset. Yeah, fucking hell. Yeah, that kind of sucks. That getting that close to parlay hit. Howdy from the UK. What's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. The flyweight is so funny. Get hit that hard. And Henry goes in and getting hiccups. Very good. Man, do you love water? I'm thirsty, man. It's fucking hot in here. Joe was saying Hamzat cut 47 pounds. Yeah, that's what people are saying, that he caught like an incredible amount of weight. So clearly that could have played a huge factor in this fight. DD fight made people think that bull on the ground and good cardio. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe some people believe that, but I was saying that forever. I never thought the Dricus fight led me to believe that Hamzat had good cardio. I don't really think I don't really see how you can come away with that conclusion. If your conclusion from that DDP fight was Hamzat has great cardio, I don't know what to tell you. I feel like you don't know what you're watching, if I'm going to be honest. I mean, there was no resistance at all. He was laying on top of him for 5 rounds. The first takedown that he went for in every round, he got very easily. And Dricus did nothing to get back to his feet. So I don't really think you can say like, oh, he has great cardio based on the Dricus fight. I never thought that personally. I agree with you. Some people did. I never was one of those people. I always thought Hamzat didn't have great cardio, and we saw it tonight. Obviously, the weight cut definitely played a factor in it, probably a pretty big factor in it. But nonetheless, regardless of a bad weight cut or not, I don't think Hamzat has great cardio, and I think we saw that tonight. Yeah, I picked Robeski KO. I was so sad. He was just an idiot, honestly. If he kept the fight on the feet, he easily could have knocked him out. In round 2, he hurt Grant Dawson pretty badly, and then he just clinches the rest of the round. I know there were teammates, and maybe he was showing mercy, but I don't know what he was doing in that moment. And then in round 3, he ends up initiating the grappling, and then he gets reversed, and eventually he ends up getting submitted. I don't really know, honestly, how the fuck, or I don't really know what his game plan was going into that. Very, very weird. Johnny, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. Imavov can't wait for the rematch. Not short notice this time against Strickland. I don't know if he gets that. I mean, maybe he does. I think it's probably going to be like maybe Imavov versus Dricus next, though. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. It's possible that they just do the rematch between Hamzat and Sean, but I personally think Hamzat's just going to move up to light heavyweight, but I guess we'll see. Just how bad is Brennan Allen? Bros cast. That's true. That is true. Just how bad is Brennan Allen? And I guess how bad is RDR? I guess that's the question that we have to ask at this point. But I thought he looked very off in that fight, I will say. Yeah, Sean Cook's Imavov, by the way. Sean isn't worried to advance against. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I really do think that Imavov's style is really good if you give him space and time. But if you take that away, I think he has a lot of trouble. And Strickland will do that. I think he will go forward against Imavov. And also, he's going to constantly be putting punches out there like that jab that he constantly throws out. And I think that's going to really interrupt the rhythm of Imavov. I think that's what we saw in the first fight. I think if we ever do see the rematch, we'll see it once again. So I think that fight favors Strickland for sure. It's kind of weird how, things play out at the weight class, though, because I think Dricus beats Sean if they ever fight again. I think Sean beats Imavov if they ever fight again. But at the same time, I think Imavov probably loses to Dricus in a 5-round fight, but in a 3-round fight, it's not the easiest fight in the world. It's just funny how styles make fights. I mean, obviously, it's obvious, I guess, but it's very interesting to think about. If Josh defeats Derek, how's he going to face Volkov? Title is here. Yeah, I could see that. I think that does make sense. I kind of feel like Volkov's getting fucked over a little bit, to be honest. He ended up losing the fight against Cyril Gane when he otherwise definitely won that fight, and he got a title shot taken away from him in that moment. Then he's, at this point, he's on a 2-fight win streak. Arguably should be a 3-fight win streak, and he still probably isn't going to get his title shot. He's just not that fun. That's kind of the issue with Volkov. I think he's really good. Especially for heavyweight. He's just not fun. He's always on the back foot. He just always kind of utilizes his kicks, calf kicks, body kicks, maybe occasional boxing. But for the most part, he's just kind of a boring fighter. And that's really why he doesn't get these big opportunities. Sean had a dislocated shoulder this fight, apparently. Oh, shit. Did he? Fucking hell. Great performance then, if that was the case. I didn't even hear about that. But I didn't watch the post show. So maybe he said it there or something. I just kind of quickly hopped off because I did post my instant reaction on the second channel, the Juicecast, which is already out if you guys are interested in that one. But where else we are we at? Khabib fans all cans. Hamzat is even better resume than Zimib. Yeah, I agree that he has a better resume. Or probably at least. I would have to think about it, but probably. Strickland called the fight perfectly. He said Hamzat knows a good wrestler and would be able to reverse, take down Hamzat. Hamzat would whiff on those big shots. Yeah, definitely did. Eric, what's going on, man? Welcome to stream. That he couldn't even find Strickland. Very good. Khabib had better resume. Gaethje, Poirier, McGregor. Yeah, I guess. I knew Buckley was a massive fraud. Dude, that was honestly like the most frustrating thing for me. I thought Brady was going to win going into that Buckley fight. I'm just not high on Buckley. I'm really not. I never was. And I definitely was not high on him going into this fight. I just got scared off by the line movement. I don't know what happened. Maybe people got like inaccurate information or something that Brady was injured going into this fight, or maybe they saw that Brady was wearing that thing on his nose and they thought he had a broken nose going into this fight. I don't really know exactly why the line flipped as much as it did, but it scared me off. It was like a plus 180 or something. That's the bet of the century, if any of you guys took that bet. He ended up winning this fight 30-25. I don't know if I've ever seen that scorecard ever. It was just such a dominant performance from him. So honestly, I'm very, very frustrated in myself for not taking that. But at the same time, I guess, how am I supposed to know that, nothing was wrong with him? But I don't know, man. Fuck. It's just, it's annoying. I even thought at minus 180, which was the initial line, I thought it wasn't bad value on Brady. So getting him at plus 200 more or less is like insane value. It's generational value if anybody took that. I'm so done with the UFC after from retiring, rewatching it. Freedom card. You're not happy with the UFC. There ain't no rematch happening. Hamzat showed nothing that fight. I don't think I would agree with that. I thought it was an incredibly close fight. I don't think the rematch is going to happen. I think Hamzat moves up to light heavyweight, but I don't think he showed him nothing. It was super close. I thought Hamzat was landing a lot of good shots on the feet. His jab was nice. His right overhand was landing like pretty frequently, actually, against Strickland, which is surprising. And as I said, the two main things that I was really surprised about in this fight was the takedown defense from Strickland. I thought eventually maybe Hamzat will gas out and Strickland could stuff takedowns late, but the fact that it happened as early as it did was very impressive to me. But also, I thought Hamzat's boxing impressed me a lot as well. He was landing a lot more shots than I was otherwise thought he would. So turned out to be a very interesting fight, I guess you can say. Hamzat used all his cardio running to the cage. Yeah, that's true. Joe, when he sees Hamzat at 205, this dude used to make 170. Yeah, he had his Joe had his famous line tonight about the steel tie cups. He just couldn't help himself. It was earlier on the card, so I don't know if any of you guys saw it, but he did have his moment. So classic Joe. Yo, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. Yes, Sean, let's go. Great performance from him, nonetheless. Tonight loss, Hamper, Hamzat 205 teleshot straight away. Now Yuri versus Hamzat makes sense. Yeah, I guess so. I honestly think now even more so than before, Paulo Costa versus Hamzat. You got to do that, man. That's a legitimate beef, at least I think. Maybe that's a fake beef as well. I don't even know what's real anymore in the UFC, but I do think Hamzat and Paulo have legitimate beef. All of a sudden, that fight makes a lot more sense at this point. Even if Hamzat won this fight, and he fought Paulo Costa for the interim belt. Obviously, you could have done that at the light heavyweight division, but now with Hamzat losing, I think it kind of makes more sense. 5-round fight, Paulo Costa versus Hamzat Chimaev as the co-main event of some pay-per-view, or maybe the main event of. Well, it has to be a pay-per-view. Yeah, probably the co-main event of some pay-per-view. 5 rounds, fuck it, put it together. Makes a lot of sense. I like Hamzat at 205. Yeah, I do as well. I do as well. I think he probably will have a lot of success at that weight class. Yeah, how was Buckley a minus 200 favorite? Apparently the rumors were he had a knee injury apparently. Okay, I guess that's what it was. I kind of get very frustrated every time I see this like insane line movement because someone obviously has an insider info. That's why the line is moving as significantly as it is. So it kind of like makes me shy away from taking a lot of those bets, but it turned out to be generational value. I mean, he 30-25 Buckley. The fight wasn't even close, man. So I don't know, but great performance from Brady nonetheless. Brady's real good. I think he's very, very underrated. It's just the issue with him is he's always going to be liable to getting bunked. His chin sucks, and also his striking is not very good. Technically, it's not terrible, but it's just not very effective. He doesn't have much behind his shots, and it's just not very effective. But once he's able to get on top, this guy's nasty, man. We saw that tonight. Honestly, like props to Buckley for not getting finished. Brady's ground and pound is not that powerful, but him not being able to find any submissions, props to Buckley for that, I guess. Lisa say 185 didn't suit Hamzat. He loves his camera. True. Hindsight is 2020. Yeah, it is. It is. And I guess, you can always beat yourself up about, taking certain plays or not taking other plays after the end result. But yeah, it's just a little bit unfortunate. Yo, what's going on, man? Welcome to stream. Does Sean jump to number 2 pound for pound? No, he's not. He's not going to be number 2 pound for pound. I don't know where he's going to be at, but he's not going to be number 2. Every bet looks great in retrospect. Yeah, true. I guess that is true. But at least like all week, I guess really the reason for why I'm kind of like beating myself up about that a little bit is because all week I was saying minus 180 is like not the worst value in the world on Sean Brady. So when he went all the way up to like a plus 200, basically, I don't know why I didn't take it, but obviously I was scared off. Yo, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. Every beef is fake. Yeah, very good. But yeah, a lot of these beefs turn out to be fake. Honestly, it's very annoying. But it is what it is. Camille Nelson, Strickland would dog walk Whitaker. Yeah, he will. I think he probably would. So you drank water. I drink. Very good. Bro, Buckley in the feet. I guess he did, but I really wouldn't say that's the takeaway, to be honest. I mean, he just found takedowns. That's why he won the fight. If the fight stayed on the feet, Buckley would have knocked him out. I can almost guarantee you that. And I don't think Buckley's good. I think he sucks. But I think he would have knocked him out, or at the very least had more success than Brady on the feet. But the takedowns were the story of that fight. I just never know what people saw in Buckley, like how good. Yeah, I agree. I think Buckley's incredibly wild. I don't really see what people see in him. I don't think he has good power, but he doesn't have insane power. He's incredibly wild. He overswings all the time. Obviously, we saw in his last 2 fights, his grappling is not very good, to say the least. I don't know. I never really saw it. I even think after this performance, there's going to be some people saying, oh, he's still young, he has time. I just don't see it at all. I don't think Buckley's a good fighter. I just don't. Howdy from the UK. What's going on, man? Welcome to stream again. Is Strickland the GOAT at middleweight now? Yeah, he's got to be, right? Ray, what's going on, man? Welcome to stream USA. Let's go. What's going on, man? Welcome to stream. Sean could beat Francis Ngannou if it was an dude. One thing about Sean Strickland is he's the best underdog in the world to bet on, because every time the line is like pretty wide, like it was in this fight versus Khamzat, Strickland always fights close. I don't think he's ever been in a fight where he hasn't fought close. Or actually, I time wasn't close. But outside of that performance, all of his fights are super close. This fight versus Khamzat was close. I guess the fluffy one wasn't close either. I'm not really making a great point here. But when he's the underdog, a lot of times like the fights turn out to be a lot closer than you otherwise would expect. So that was something that I was thinking about going into this fight, but at the same time, I just didn't see this fight being that close. I thought it would play out in one of two ways. Either Strickland pulls away late or Khamzat finds a finish early, but it turned out to be a really close fight in the end. Russia rule of the UFC ended. Let's go. Yeah, a lot of these guys are starting to lose, I guess. We'll see what happens next for Islam. But yeah, a lot of these guys are starting to lose for show. Can't wait to rewatch Van versus Tyra. Yeah, honestly, like a banger of a fight for sure. Only Nate was an OG, never faked it. Call that spade a spade. Everyone was on roids. Yeah, I agree. Everyone is on roids, in my opinion. But it is what it is. People forget, man. Strickland staff going into the broken second DDP fight. That's true. That is true. But honestly, like I just think Dricus' style is going to give a lot of issues to Strickland. I think if they ever fought again for a third time, I think Dricus wins again. But yeah, I mean, it's true. You're not wrong what you're saying, but we'll see, I guess, if it ever happens. I think Dricus is the big winner of tonight, to be honest. Outside of Strickland, obviously. Yo, what's going on, man? Welcome to stream. Can obviously Strickland win like that. Both him and Khamzat really thought Khamzat would destroy him. Strickland agrees, unbelievable fight. Yeah, I agree. Definitely a very, very interesting outcome for sure. So yeah, great performance from Strickland. Stuffed takedowns really nicely early, and that was a very, very interesting thing. Definitely something I didn't expect going into this fight. So great performance from him, and yeah, really good. Yo, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. You won $9,500 tonight. Holy shit, man! Congrats. That's a good day for sure. Seeing this performance makes me more confident that Depor against Islam. What the Khamzat one? I mean, I guess I don't know how much that really like plays a role. They're different fighters, but saying they're both grapplers, I guess. I don't know. I guess. I would like to see the fight nonetheless. We'll see what happens in it. If somehow Ilya can keep the fight on the feet, I think it's over. But I guess we shall see. When they called everyone on ruins, he meant Dana White included. Dana White definitely is on something. I mean, if you look at Dana White's head like 20 years ago as compared to where he's at this point, this guy's on something, man, to say the least. His head grew like 10x. It's insane. People forget, man. Dana White's head. What else? Yo, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. I said at the entire fight camp that Sean would win. If he kept it standing, Khamzat would lose. Yeah, I mean, I agree. And obviously that turned out to be the case. But I always thought that if the fight was on the feet, Sean's going to win. I think most people thought that, to be honest. The real question would be, could he survive early against Khamzat? The answer was yes. And the second question would be, could he keep the fight in the feet the rest of the fight, which the answer was yes as well. And yeah, he won the fight. But it was very competitive. I was very surprised how much success Khamzat had on the feet at the same time. But yeah, great performance, though, nonetheless, from Sean. From this live stream, I'm not sure. Very good. Should I turn into a late night streamer? I'm not going to do that, but Um, I fear they make JDM versus Brady. Please no. Yeah, they definitely could make that next, honestly. And I think Brady probably wins. I don't know, man. JDM's good. I really think he is good. He's just running into a lot of really good fighters, and I guess he's never was elite of the elites, and now he's just kind of running into it. But we shall see. Crazy some pros got robbed. Sean legitimately. Yeah, a lot of people did have it 3 rounds to 2 in favor of Hamzat. I thought the judges' scorecards were fine. I personally had Sean winning rounds 2, 3, 5, and I thought 2 and 5 were clear. I guess 3 was a swing round. I thought Sean won that round, but it was close. I guess maybe I would have to rewatch it. But I thought the scorecards were fine. I thought Sean won. My goat needs time to rebuild. Yeah, he does. Also, I think he needs to get like different type of matchups. If he gets Brady, like it's not a good fight for him. It's really not. If he can somehow keep the fight on the feet, yeah, he'll win. But I don't know if he could. So I would like to see him get a little bit easier matchups going forward. Hamzat is such low FNQ. Hamzat was front leg away, no calf kicks. Yeah, I agree. He definitely could have went to the calf kicks a little bit more. And I honestly think like more so than just the calf kicks. I think if Hamzat just exploded and really went for it on the feet, he could have landed more shots and really put Strickland in a worse situation. I just felt like he was kind of fighting at Strickland's pace for the most part, where he was just, he was on the pressure, yes, but he was kind of just fighting slow. He was fighting behind the jab, trying to fight technically. I don't think that was the best idea in the world for Hamzat. I know Strickland has really good striking defense, but at the same time, like, I feel like he should explode. Strickland has, no physicality, more or less. He's not really athletic at all, and he doesn't really have a great ability to counter at all. So because of that, I thought it was a real opportunity for Hamzat to just explode and maybe land big shots in the feet, but he just didn't decide to do that. Maybe he was afraid of gassing himself out, as he already was gassed out at a certain point of the fight. So I don't know, but definitely a really, really good performance. I keep saying it, but it's true from Sugar Sean Strickland. Not to mention every time that you're an underdog, literally one believes in it. Yeah, Sean Strickland, I think he's a Hall of Famer, which is crazy to say. I honestly think Sean Strickland is like the most unlikely Hall of Famer of all time. Listen, he was an afterthought getting that title shot against Izzy. He ended up not only winning that fight, but he won it in incredibly dominant fashion. It was just a great performance overall from him. Then he has the trickiest fights where he didn't win, okay. But then he beats Fluffy Hernandez, a really good contender. And then he beats Hamzat Chimaev, the first guy to beat Hamzat Chimaev. This guy's resume is real good. And he regains the belt, not to mention. He regains the belt once again. His resume is incredibly good. And he'll be a Hall of Famer. He definitely will. Very crazy to say that, I think, if you were like, 3 years ago saying that. But he's a Hall of Famer for sure. People figure out the Russian wrestling. I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know. It is a good question, but I do think guys are getting much better at a couple of things. I think for one, their takedown defense has gotten significantly better across the UFC. But for two, I think it's much more difficult to submit guys at this point. Guys just have really good submission defense. A lot of guys like high-level jiu-jitsu guys or high-level, grapplers in general get certain fighters or certain opponents in bad situations, and they still can't sub them. So I think it's just the game is adapting a little bit to these really high-level grapplers, and I think we're starting to see that. Rather JDM versus Buckley. Yeah, if JDM fights Buckley, he'll win. He'll win that fight. His chin's like really good for one, and for two, he's just way better than Buckley. Buckley sucks. I don't know if that is going to be the next fight, but if that is, yeah, JDM will win that. Won't lie, when Shot had in top position, I went crazy. That was nuts. I mean, listen, as I said, I did think that Sean would have success as the fight progressed, but I didn't think he would have that much success that early, literally in round 2, stuffing takedowns. And then obviously on top of that, he got on top. Kind of crazy, man. Very, very crazy the way that played out. A nice bounce back, Jaden versus Buckley. Yeah, I agree. Yo, what's going on, man? Welcome to stream. Am I the only one think Hamzat won? No, you're not the only one. I personally don't think he won. I thought Sean won. I thought it was fair. But you're not the only one. I definitely heard a lot of people saying that Hamzat won round 3, which was a swing round, but I personally thought it was fine. Because he advancing in takedowns. Well, round 1 was obvious for Hamzat. Round 2 was obvious for Strickland. Round 4 was obvious for Hamzat. Round 5 was, I thought, was pretty obvious for Strickland. Round 3 is a swing round. Yes, Strickland was going back basically the entire fight, but he also was striking effectively by utilizing that jab, utilizing right hands occasionally as well. And yeah, Hamzat was going forward, but he wasn't landing too much. There's a couple decent jabs, but I thought Strickland was landing more. And also on top of that, yeah, there was a couple takedowns that Hamzat got, I believe, in round 5 and maybe in round 3 as well. I can't remember. I think it was round 5, really, the only other time he got a takedown outside of the first round. But he didn't really do anything with it. Strickland got right back to his feet and got away immediately. So I don't really take account the takedowns that much into it. It really comes down to the striking. And I thought in round 3, at least, Strickland had more effective striking. That's how I saw it. Yo, what's going on, man? Welcome to stream. Man, I'm sad Pantoja. My goat's going to get knocked out by Van in the rematch. He's not going to be 100% after that injury no more. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I thought even going into the first fight, I thought Van has the style to beat Pantoja. Wouldn't be easy. If he got taken down, I thought it would be very, very difficult for him to win that fight. But after seeing this performance, how much success Van had on the ground, even when he got mounted against a high level, super high level jiu-jitsu practitioner in Tyra, it does make you feel better going into the fight against Pantoja. I'm sure Pantoja gets a shot next. He's old at this point, for one. Also, you know, he had a broken elbow, so we'll see how that recovers, for 2. And for 3, Van showed really good ability to not only stuff take. Actually, I don't know if he showed a great ability to stuff takedowns, but he showed a great ability to survive on the ground and get back to his feet. So that definitely has to make you feel good if you are a Van bettor or a Van fan in general. But the one thing that I will say, the difference between Tyra and Pantoja is, I think Tyra had a much easier time at actually taking Van down. He's just so big for the weight class. Also, he's real good. But also, well, yeah, that's a difference. And I don't think Pantoja will be able to find takedowns as easily as Tyra could. But at the same time, if the fight does get to the ground, I think Pantoja is going to be a much more dangerous matchup for Van as compared to Tyra. At least in hindsight, going into this fight, I didn't think that would be the case. I thought Tyra would be a nightmare for Van once he gets on top, but in hindsight, he wasn't. But I do think that once Pantoja gets takedowns, if he does, he's going to be a lot more dangerous. He's going to be a lot more patient. He's going to get into side control. He's going to threaten submissions and eventually find one potentially. I think it's a different fight on the ground. Yo, what's going on, man? Welcome to stream. I was pissed at Hamzat, spent the whole round striking. Yeah, I think really what it was is he wasn't successfully able to find takedowns or at least control time over Strickland after that first round, which is crazy to say, but he wasn't. And I think that's really why he decided to, only strike more or less for the rest of the round or rest of the fight. And also on top of that, he was afraid of gassing out. He already kind of gassed out in round 2. He didn't want that to happen again. That's why he struck the rest of the fight, more or less. He shot him for a couple takedowns, but more or less, that's what he decided to do. Also, I do want to make a quick mention. If you guys are enjoying the streams, want to support your boy, be sure to hit that join button down below. Best bets. We ended up profiting on this card. Not too much, but we did profit. So you get best bets for every single card. Members only live streams every single Friday. Members only shout outs in each one of my videos, discounted merch, which you see in the back, as well as I'm wearing here as well, alongside with additional perks as well. So if you want to support your boy, hit that join button down below. And Sean had no answers for Hamzat, right? Yeah. Or had answers, sorry. Yeah, I agree. Very, very interesting to see. At 205, Hamzat will touch gloves. Very good. I would have been shocked. He won the belt twice. Talking about Strickland, yeah, he did. Poetan training, good, true. Poetan knocked some sense into him. We were shook when. Yeah, Strickland had some incredible victories, man. It's crazy to say. Him beating Izzy, going into that fight and beating Hamzat, this guy had an incredible underdog victories. Yeah, I think Sean and Alex are a great team up for sure. Yes, sir. Strickland went from the Apex King to now. Yeah. Honestly, it's crazy. It's crazy to think about, man. But people forget. The man very good. I'm gonna kind of try to skim through it. I'm so behind on your boys' chats. I apologize. Hamzat should go to 205 ton. I'll just retire. I had it 4-1 Strickland. Round 1 clear for Hamzat. Yeah, I personally thought round 1, yeah, clear for Hamzat. I thought round 4, honestly, I thought was kind of clear for Hamzat as well. But I thought Strickland won, so I agree with you from that perspective. Owen, what's going on, man? Welcome to stream. If Islam ever fought Hamza at a middleweight, Hamza would have fought like that. Islam actually marks him. Yeah, I guess. I always thought Hamza probably would be able to, dominate Islam if they ever fought, but yeah, if he fights like this, I guess it won't go that well for him. Yo, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. I'm happy he comes out lost. Thank you for your service, Strickland. Let's go. Yeah, me as well. I think it's good for the sport. I think it's good for the UFC that Hamza lost for show. They're announcing the winner of Alex versus Nina. Very good. Nina instead. Very good. It scared me showing concerning Hamza's strong side and exchanges again missing. Yeah, I guess me as well. I was just very surprised that Hamzat honestly was landing a good amount of shots against Strickland. Strickland's so hard to hit, and Hamzat was the guy to land shots. I know the threat of the takedown, I guess, opened it up a little bit, but Hamzat really didn't shoot for a takedown much after the first round, so it was interesting to see. How can someone be at 125? My lunch weighs more. Yeah, I don't know. Yo, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. The main event was so trash. Light sparring session. Both look bad. Unreal. Anyone is glazing Strickland. And blah, blah, blah. I thought it was a good performance from Strickland based upon the expectations going into it. And I thought he did a good job at stuffing takedowns and utilizing his jab off the back foot. But honestly, I don't totally disagree. I don't think that fight was that fun. It was okay, but I don't think it was that fun. And it kind of felt like a spar at moments. I will agree with you on that part. I think Van is a fake champ. You want to rematch against Pantoja. I mean, you could say that, I guess, after the Pantoja fight. I don't think you could say that after tonight. I mean, he put on a great performance. I don't think he's a fake champion, but it'll be interesting to see how the rematch goes against Pantoja. But honestly, I think you have to feel better if you're Van going into that rematch at this point. Van did absolutely amazing. I thought it was struggle. Yeah, he looked great tonight. He really did look good. Very, very surprising. Tyra got to his spots pretty easily, but couldn't do anything with it. Very, very shocking to me. I thought if Tyra couldn't get to his spots, couldn't find takedowns, then maybe this result could have played out the way it did. But if Tyra was getting takedowns and getting to full mount, I didn't see a world where he didn't finish Van. So the fact that not only did he not finish him, he didn't even get close, definitely a great, great performance from Van, man. I mean, he barely has been training MMA, and he's, having this much success against a really high-level grappler. Very impressive. Can't say enough about Van. I think Hamzat is going to move up. He problems for the entire division. Yeah, I agree. I definitely do agree. He probably moves up. They'll probably give a lot of issues to those guys. Hamzat got gas even quicker than usual, and the takedowns in round 2, I think, is on the cameras. But yeah, I mean, I think the weight cut definitely had a role to play. I personally thought he missed weight. I guess it didn't really matter in the end, but I personally thought he missed weight. Apparently, I believe Joe Rogan was saying he cut 40 pounds or something ridiculous. He cut a ridiculous amount of weight, so that's probably the reason for why he gassed out quicker than normal. But it was very weird to see that. Yeah, I mean, round 1 wasn't really that gassing, and then in round 2, he just was completely gassed, man. It was very weird. He pulled guard in the second round. It was crazy to see. But then he kind of found a second wind, I guess, which is also kind of weird after round 2. But I don't know. Very, very interesting. Yo, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. Hamzat won't win a 205 title. To get his nutrition, check me. True. Strickland best win coming down performance. Easy fight and drop. Yeah, I mean, you're not totally wrong. Honestly, I don't completely disagree with you. But I think it's impressive to see what he's been able to do. But they're not super fun. Listen, people get this wrong all the time about Strickland. Strickland's more or less like a boring fighter. I thought his fluffy fight was really fun, but outside of that, a lot of his performances are not that fun. But he's really good at the same time, and I think we saw that tonight. We saw that in his previous fights as well. I put $20 on Strickland 4 days ago. Thanks for $100. Let's go. Congrats, brother. Yo, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. If Hamzat fight an ego, don't fight on Paulo Costa to fight. Yeah, maybe. And that's the fight I really want to see next. Paulo Costa versus Hamzat at 205. I think that's what you got to do. I think they have beef, but I guess you never know at this point. But I would like to see that next. It's almost like a Beef versus McGregor reversed. Hamzat Kage. Yeah, I do agree. Listen, Hamzat, the beef was fake. I think the beef was fake. But nonetheless, Hamzat is very emotional. There was a lot of times throughout this fight where he was kind of getting pieced up a little bit with the jab, and he was kind of like looking to his corner, or kind of like trolling, or kind of laughing, or just talking to Strickland. He's very emotional, and that definitely like kind of took him out of the fight in certain moments, I thought, and Strickland did a good job at taking advantage in those moments. And it's not just the Strickland fight. Obviously, there's been multiple times that we've seen that. But yeah, he's emotional, man. Um, also, Hamza would get mopped at 205. He doesn't look like rounds. It would be worse for the heavier guys. Yeah, I guess. I think it really depends on the matchup, though, at 205. I think there's a lot of guys that Hamza just washes and probably just runs through. A lot of guys at 205 just can't grapple at all. I don't think Jamal Hill is really going to do a good job at, stuffing takedowns and avoiding submissions against Hamzat. I don't think that fight would ever happen. I mean, that's a random fight, Jamal Hill versus Hamza Chimaev. But, for example, I don't know how well he would do. I think there's a lot of other guys. Cool, Roundtree. I know they train together, so I don't know if they'll ever fight. But I don't know how well he would do in stuffing takedowns and avoiding submissions against Hamzat. There's a lot of other guys in the weight class that just can't really grapple. I know they're bigger, but they just can't grapple. So I don't know. I think he probably will do okay. But if he can't find a submission or a finish in the first 2 rounds, yeah, he's fucked against like most of the guys probably at 205. That's why I thought Yuri would win. I thought Yuri would beat Hamzat. Those were the rumors a while ago. And I think that honestly was very close to happening. But I thought Yuri would win because I thought he would be able to survive early and finish Hamzat late. But, we never got that fight. And I don't know if he ever will. Paulo Costa versus Hamzat is my dream matchup, making the base of Murzakanov, but Hamzat gives his own 0. Sadly, never going to happen. Yeah, true. But yeah, I do agree. Paulo versus Hamzat is a fight that I really would like to see as well. Also, what do you think about King Green? Yeah, dude, honestly, he at a point, at this point, I think is probably the best he's ever looked in his career, which is hilarious. He's like 39 years old, I believe he is. However old he is, he's pretty old at this point. But he's been looking great. He's coming off back-to-back finish victories in his last 2. Very dominant submission victory. Washington sucks. But nonetheless, I thought King Green looked great. And the fight before that, he knocked out Zellhuber in a really dominant performance and a very impressive performance. And the fight before that, he got a split decision victory over Lance Gibson, but it shouldn't have been a split. He clearly won that fight. He's been looking real good as of late. Ever since he got knocked out like a little while ago, everyone thought he was done. He's good, man. He just has such a weird style. And I see a world where King Green gives like guys in the rankings some trouble. Like, could you see more, him giving Moicano some issues? I definitely could. So I don't know. He's good. What a weird fight. I thought Hamzat might have cardio issues and all this stuff, but never thought of his and later rounds. See the Burns fight. Yeah. Very, very weird. Very, very weird for sure. Outcome on paper was good for Strickland, but terrible fight sparring session, or impressive possible. Just backed up and jabbed and guard after Hamzat's gassed 5 minutes in. Yeah. I mean, that's more or less what happened. King is definitely a top level contender for sure, just not championship level. I don't know if he's a top level contender, but I think he's real good. And yeah, he's definitely not a championship contender, but he's real good. I definitely do think there are guys in the rankings he could beat. I think the real ceiling for Bobby Green is probably like, I don't know, maybe like 12, something like that. Maybe like 10, maybe, probably not 10, probably like 12 is a ceiling for Bobby Green. But yeah, he's good. And he probably is the best he's ever looked in his career. Dana saw Armin in Hamzat's corner. Very good. Yeah, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. Deshaun Strickland is the GOAT. Step aside and friends. Very good. At 205, Hamzat will dig in and natural heavyweight. True. Joe, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. He was ready to quit in the second round after getting, yeah, he definitely was. He did look like he was, but then he had some success in the latter half of the fight, honestly. But yeah, his cardio was not good, to say the least. Hamzat is such a long job. I thought he lost to Burns and Usman. Yeah, I mean, his fight IQ is not very good. I thought he beat Burns, but I thought the Usman fight should have been a draw. I mean, I thought it was a clear 10-8 round 1, and rounds 2 or 3, I thought Usman won. So I thought it should have been a draw. And then the Burns fight, I thought Hamzat won personally, but it was a super close fight. Yeah, Ian Garrett thing proof Hamzat is emotional. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you are right, actually. I completely forgot about that, but yeah, you are right. Juice Man, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. Stealing my name. Hamzat low key won in my opinion. I think they actually didn't actually missed. Wait, I think it was a fucking plug. Yeah, I think so. I'll agree with you on that. I do think that I think Hamzat missed weight, but I personally thought Strickland won, but it was close. Round 3 is a swing round, but I thought Strickland won. So will DDP stay out and wait for the Strickland versus Imhoff? DDP. Maybe. I wouldn't be mad if that's what he wanted to do. I always thought probably what would end up playing out at the weight class would be it'll be Dricus versus Imhoff, and then the winner of that would face Hamzat, assuming Hamzat won. But now everything changes. It probably could be Imhoff or Strickland next, and then maybe Dricus waits out and gets a title shot after that. That's just my opinion. That's fair. That's fair. It was a close fight. I don't think you can go wrong either way. I just personally thought it was Strickland's fight. Yo, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. Hamzat didn't miss weight or didn't really make weight. Yeah, I agree. I thought he missed weight as well. I think only Hasbulla can beat Strickland. True. Hamzat is going to trade wins and losses at 205. I think Hamzat Glazer is delusional. Dominates a light heavyweight and gives us performance. I guess. Why are you streaming late? It's lifting weights time. True. What's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. I'm done with this sport. It's literally WWE now. It's really sad because the beef wasn't real. I really thought the beef was real. Yeah, me as well. I was very, very disappointed with that. I thought it was real as well. The press conference was super, super fun. Then all of a sudden, before the fight even starts, they keep dabbing each other up before every round. Very annoying, but yeah, it was fake. Looked like a fixed fight, even as Strickland fan. Looked weird. I thought it was very weird the way it played out. I don't think I would say it was a fixed fight, but I thought it looked very weird the way it played out. Definitely something I wasn't expecting. Moicano with Moking Green with no contest. Very good. Dennis said in a video, it's literally just as soon as I get to. Yeah, true. Yeah, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. First time here. Let's go, Strickland. Let's go. Welcome back. Or not welcome back, but welcome. But yeah, let's go, Strickland. Did a good job. Hamzat is not really no chance of heavyweight, even making 170. If Hamzat was 170, no chance of making it. Yeah, true. I mean, it does sound pretty ridiculous him moving up to heavyweight. But the weight class sucks so much. I don't know. Maybe, but I don't know. I think he should focus on 205. Usman is such as man for not moving up to 185 past few years. Honestly, could have become a champ low key. At 185, could have. I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe, but I'm not sure. What's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. I know Sean Brady grew up in the neighborhood in Northwest Philly. We're proud of him. Let's go, man. That's fire. Yeah. Sean Brady put on a dominant performance, 30-25. I don't know if I've ever seen that scorecard before. Super, super dominant. Easy takedowns, dominant on the ground. He's real good. I think Sean Brady's incredibly underrated. I think his striking isn't effective, honestly, and his chin sucks. But outside of that, his grappling is real good. If he gets on top, I think this might be ridiculous to say. Well, it's not actually, but maybe people will think this is ridiculous to say. I think on top, Brady's like a top 3 guy in the UFC or top 5 guy maybe in the UFC. He's so good when he gets on top. It's just the issue with him is his physicality is not great on the feet. I've had the name since you were very good. Very good. Hamzat cut 47 pounds. Very good. It was real for me. What? The beef? They were so close to each other, they might have kissed. Yeah. Definitely fake beef. I want Hogan to beat the fuck out of Strickland at a catchweight. Hogan versus Strickland. He probably could make 185. Hogan is so oversized, or not oversized, but so blown up for the heavyweight division. He's probably like a 185er, for being honest. But I respect it. Fuck it. Move up to heavyweight. Everyone sucks there anyway. And just, put on fun performances. Juicy on roids, I can prove it. Yeah, you're right. I am on something. That's for sure. Anyone who legitimately is sped, he has 0 skills, a black guy, even power is overrated. I agree with you. I think his power is actually very overrated, and I've been saying this for a while. I thought Buckley sucks. I thought the line movement was insane, but I didn't take it, and I kind of beat myself up for it. But the reason I didn't take it was I just thought, people had insider info. Maybe Brady was injured going into the fight or something, but going into it, I thought even minus 180, which was the initial line, was kind of short. I thought Brady should have been like a minus, 240, honestly, or something like that. I thought Buckley sucks. I agree with you. And his power is overrated, but it is what it is. I subbed to you. Thanks so much, man. I appreciate that. Strickland would put belt at 2. What? Very good. Yo, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. Chimaev putting the belt on Strickland was pretty cool. Yeah, it was. I think I was just disappointed that the beef was fake, but yeah, it was a cool moment, I guess, to see that. I'm going to sleep. No need to post troll comments. Otherwise, people in this channel as well. Have a good one. Let's go, man. I appreciate you for joining the stream, and thanks so much once again for becoming a channel member. But I'll see you in the next one. I only put 100 on line movement and was going to put 400, but just didn't win. Injury. Yeah. I mean, it's a good strategy, honestly. I just avoided it altogether because I thought maybe he was injured. But yeah, I was honestly considering taking him at minus 180. But I decided not to just because I thought, he's just not very effective on the feet. And I thought he could get knocked out, maybe. But I still thought he was going to win. And then when the line moved to, plus 180 or 190, whatever it was, I just don't know why I didn't take it. But whatever. Why was no one saying about Hamza Wade versus Whitaker at DDP? Now weighs is an issue. It doesn't make sense. Well, I think really what the thing was, at least this is what Joe Rogan was saying, that he had to cut like 40 pounds or something like that. So I think that's really why the weight was a big issue for him going into this fight. Because I was actually talking about this, but there was a lot of rumors that Hamzat was going to fight against Yuri Prohaska at light heavyweight for the interim belt, I think, or the vacant belt, whatever it was. And I think that was true. And I think because of that, what's his face? Hamzat added a lot of weight to him. And then all of a sudden, after Strickland beat Fluffy in such a dominant fashion, all of a sudden that fight made a lot of sense. And at that point, I think I think Hamzat, stayed at the weight class and had to cut a lot of weight. I think that's kind of what happened. That's kind of why he had issues with his weight, if I had to guess, but I don't know. He's also just pretty big. I'm a channel member, privileged. Where's the very good? IDK Bo Nickel beating Ashwell Hamzat. Imagine Bo Nickel was right all along and he actually could beat Hamzat. Maybe he'll just survive early and Hamzat will just gas in the second round and then Bo Nickel can start to pull away. But I'll say I've never seen Bo Nickel dominate anybody in terms of the grappling. Literally nobody, which is crazy to say, at least in the UFC. So I think Hamzat will be fine. Even if Hamzat's gas, he'll be fine. AB, what's going on, man? Welcome to stream. You jinxed him. Who Tyra or Hamzat? And I guess I did for both. Fucking hell. Like Fury wasn't a selling point of Cuckley. Only beats old wash dudes. Grappling is yeah, I agree. And even in the Wonder Boy fight, I thought he was losing that fight until he landed a big shot late. Yeah, I agree. He's just not very good. He's not very good at all. DDP thing is just around 3 rounds. Would have had the piano in the back. Dude, honestly, one thing that I do want to say, though, I know it sounds ridiculous. Maybe not after this performance. I honestly think Drickus could beat Hamzat, dude. He just has to work on his takedown defense a little bit. It has to be better than it was in that fight, which, honestly, I don't see how it could possibly get worse. But if he can, stuff takedowns or at the very least make Hamzat work a little bit, I don't know, man. He definitely could beat Hamzat. And especially in the latter half of the fight, Strickland didn't do a great job at going forward at all or really forcing Hamzat to be on the back foot at all. But Drickus would. And Drickus really could put Hamzat away and really gas him out. So, I really think he could win, honestly, especially after this result. But they're never going to fight again, so it doesn't even matter talking about it. I think probably what happens is Hamzat moves up. But even if he didn't, even if he stayed at middleweight and he had an instant rematch against Strickland, they'll probably do that rematch. Whoever wins would be whoever wins. And regardless of the result, Hamzat probably moves up to light heavyweight. So we're never going to see that fight anyway. I like to see Chimaev in RAF. He is. I think he actually announced that he is going to RAF. I don't know when he's going to perform in RAF. I don't think there is a date yet, but he is going there. Hamzat could win a rematch against Strickland pretty easily, in my opinion. The dude is just dead after tonight. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't disagree. I think Hamzat could win that fight. I think everything kind of went right for Strickland. But if Hamzat, comes in and he has better cardio than he did in this fight, maybe can grapple a little bit more, I think he could win, obviously. But even on the feet, I thought he could have done a lot more. And even could have theoretically won the fight in the feet. He impressed me how much he landed against Strickland. But at the same time, I thought he could have done more. Prices of the gas in the US is current gas himself out. Yeah, he couldn't fill up the tank. Even against Colby Covington wasn't doing great. Colby mentioned in the fight with Hashem losing weight. Yeah, true. Now I can't really wait to see how Alex does at heavyweight. Yeah, I'd be very interested to see. I personally think the fight is really close. I think the movement can give a lot of issues to Alex, but still, my prediction is Pereira at this point. I think the calf kicks of Pereira are really going to slow down the movement of Strickland, and from there, I do think Alex can start to go to his other weapons, his left hook, jab to the body, jab up top, right straight, head kick, body kick, calf kicks. There's a lot of different things he can go to if he's able to slow down that movement of Strickland. Let's go, bro. I agree with you on a lot of your MMA takes, I will say. Yeah, I've been saying for a while, I think Morales beats Islam. I think he has the best shot to beat Islam at the weight class. I think he knocks him out. I really do. Unfortunately, though, doesn't seem like he is going to be getting the next shot. But theoretically, if he does, yeah, I wouldn't mind that. Morales is humongous for 170. I don't know how the fuck he makes that weight class. But yeah, if he does get the title shot next, which I don't think he will, but if he does and he knocks out Islam, then yeah, he probably should move up. Herb, are you ready, Strickland? Yeah, Hamzat was gassed before the fight started. He was gassed on the dap before they started the fight. Michael Morales making 170 is insane. It is insane. I don't know how the fuck that guy makes 170. I know a lot of people say Prates is real big, which he is, but Morales is like a lot bigger than Prates. I don't know how the fuck he makes that weight class. Did someone channel block me? I can see bro's comments. Kind of very good. Costa. No, I didn't do anything, by the way, if that's what you're asking. Casa looked good at 205. Fight with Hamzat would be fun. Yeah, I agree. I think that should be the next fight. Probably what I would do if it were up to me is I would do this. I would do Imavov versus Strickland for the belt at middleweight, and then I would do Hamzat versus Paulo Costa 5-round co-main event of a pay-per-view card. That's what I would do if it were up to me. Aspinall, also respect from UK fans. Gun is dirty, but Aspinall chumped out. Think so? I mean, maybe, but Strickland is incredibly dirty. I think Hamzat is not Morales. I don't know if I fully agree with that one, to be honest. I think Gary poses a lot of threats to Islam, but I still think Islam beats him in the end. I don't think it'll be easy. I think the movement of Gary is going to pose a lot of threats and issues, I guess. But eventually, I think Islam finds a takedown, and on the ground, I think he submits Ian Gary. So I personally think he beats Ian. In terms of Shafkat, I think that fight's real close as well. I don't know. I mean, this version of Shafkat, I think, definitely loses to Islam. He's just too injury prone, and he's been out for too long. But a prime version of Shafkat gives a lot of trouble to Islam. I do agree with you on that one. Brady, it's an interesting fight, but I think Islam beats Brady. And Prates, I think Islam beats Prates, to be honest. I mean, listen, if Prates lands one big shot, it's over, but I think Islam wins. Prates seems like he's very easy to take down. We've seen that multiple times. Leon took him down really easily. JDM took him down pretty easily in that first round. Doesn't have great takedown defense. I think Islam should be fine in that fight, but he can always get clipped before he finds that takedown. I love for Casa to beat the fuck out of Hamzat after tonight. Yeah. Gone eye poker, kicking him in, Brian. No, yeah, Prayer's gonna have to wear goggles going into that fight for sure. Morales is on roids, man. Yeah, probably, but everybody else is as well, so whatever. Fuck it. Islam is a little guy, man. He got a nice cherry pick. Yeah, he's small. He is a bit small for the weight class, for sure. Islam beats Gary. Yeah, I agree. I think he does. But I don't think it'll be easy, but I think he'll win. To make 185, Hamzat left someone's brain at home. uh, I feel bad for Shafkat's knee injuries. They're no joke. Dude, that guy can't catch a break. I think Shafkat is like one of the biggest what ifs in UFC history. I know technically he's still in the UFC, but I wouldn't be surprised if he never fights again. And even if he does fight again, it's not going to be for a long time, and he's going to have a lot of time outside of the octagon. Who knows at where his physicality is going to be at after all those injuries. I don't know. I just think Shafkat is done one way or the other, and it's very unfortunate because he was real good. I feel the same way. What do you think is real good? I don't know about this name. Real challenger. Alex is moving up. Alex wants a two-shot. Let's go. Yeah, I mean, I favor Alex if I had to say, but it's super close. Plus, that I can do it to be Alex for show. Yeah, I agree. Sabit was a bigger what if for me. Yeah, Zabit is a huge what if as well. I think that's historically, one that a lot of fans go to. But I don't know what he would be on my list. Maybe that's one, and Shafkat's two. But Shafkat is one of the bigger what ifs. I mean, he was super dominant. Was very, very fun. Just couldn't, get out of his own way, I guess, or couldn't stay away from the injuries. Shafkat is like Zabit guy for real. Yeah, he is. I guess they kind of both had different issues, but they're both similar in the sense that they're both real good and just had their careers cut short. Now I know I'm talking about Shafkat like he's retired, and he's not. But I feel like he's like pretty close to being retired. He just gets injured so frequently. I don't know what this guy can do going forward, to be honest. As in a bit kind of fighter. Yeah, true. But anyways, boys, I hate to cut it off short at this point, but it's super late. It's 3:30. Getting tired at this point. I appreciate everybody for joining the stream. Once again, if you want to support your boy, be sure to hit that join button down below. Best bets, members only live streams every Friday, members only shout outs, additional perks as well. I'll read some of your boys' questions quickly and hop off. Islam versus Ilya at 55 is the biggest what if in UFC. Yeah, probably. I think Ilya knocks out Islam at 55. 170, it's more difficult, but at 55, I think Ilya wins. I could see Allen getting cramped by a pillow fist gun. Guys great against rocks, but constantly. Yeah, true. I guess possibly I could see that. Didn't Zabit have lung issues? Yeah, he did. He just had like really bad cardio, and it turned out that he had like some issues with his lungs, and I think he got it fixed. I don't know exactly what he did, but apparently he had some sort of a surgery or whatever, I guess, to fix it. I had no idea, to be honest, but yeah, he just doesn't want to fight anymore, unfortunately. So it is what it is. But later, good night. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. You too as well. Fly. But yeah, I'll hop off stream at this point. I appreciate everybody for joining. But until the next time, peace out, boys.